Hey guys, thanks for watching season 1 of the Short Marketing Show. Today we're going to be kind of giving a brief overview of what the season entailed and kind of tell us a little bit of stories of what we've learned and maybe a little bit of how the show started. And we might hear from our glorious producer, Jason. I think
What's going on, guys?
He had a couple mess ups during the show, so maybe we'll bring those to attention.
Good old episode 1, man.
There we go. Awesome.
And also talk a little bit on... Is my mic working? There we go. See?
Another Jason mishap.
Now, maybe talk about a little bit about what we're looking forward to coming up in season 2. So we're super excited.
Awesome.
So Justin,
hit me.
how did it go in season 1? It was a learning experience.
Yeah, it definitely was a learning experience. Like I said, we started off with a whole different premise. We started off with the idea of just you and I sitting across from the table like we are now in the conference room, actually just talking about marketing in general and kind of the process of how you should run the business on the marketing side, so on and so forth. Definitely was a tank. It was not good at all.
We realized nobody likes to sit around and listen to
not at all. We were beating around the bush like no one could imagine. But no, I think it evolved into something really powerful and really great that listeners can attend to and kind of get some value behind marketing. And it doesn't have to be for business owners. It doesn't have to even be for people interested in marketing. It could just be anyone in general can listen to this and get a little bit of insight how businesses run and how they market themselves.
Definitely. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is the power of people, the power of relationships. I think if nobody ever watched our show ever, I think at the very least we deepen some relationships with some people. We form new relationships with people we've never really known or talked with before. And I don't know, as obviously it's the Short Marketing Show, but as for the Short Media Group, that's our biggest thing is we want to know more people in the community. We want to be connected with those business owners, those marketers, have them know us and us to be able to know them. I think more than anything, if we get nothing else out of this besides connections,
right?
I can't complain.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that kind of leads into season 2, which will be coming out in a couple of weeks for you guys. We're going to be bringing on quite a bit of more of business owners and everyday marketers who can, again, provide some more insight and so on and so forth.
And I think we're going to take maybe a dive into bringing on some people statewide, nationwide, bring them on Zoom. We'll be able to get some, we're hoping for some high profile marketers that have some crazy experience with marketing companies and growing and scaling and all the above. So we're super excited for that. You might see a new set, new design.
Yes.
Maybe even an updated cover photo for the podcast.
Absolutely.
Taking steps. I think the biggest thing we've learned is podcasting is definitely here to stay. You can't go wrong with connecting and building an audience around your brand.
For sure. Awesome.
It's been great. So
whenever you guys first started, that first episode that you filmed with Halo, what were some of the challenges that you guys faced? Like interviewing somebody, not for the first time, but in podcast form. What kind of were the struggles you had with that?
I think more of just keeping the conversation going. I think if you notice the first episode or two,
or three,
we both had laptops open and I really made an effort not to stare at my laptop, but it was the very first interview on podcast that we've done. So I had to, reference my laptop to kind of keep me going. But
there's sometimes you would blank and just like,
where do you go from here? And then you'll hear me stumble on words and try to just come up with some question on the go. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
And I think that's the best thing about podcasting is it's real, it's raw, it's oftentimes from scratch. But it's that's what people connect with is other people and people make mistakes. So.
Yeah. And Jason, you did a good job covering for me. Episode, I think 3, 4, 5, give or take.
Oh yeah. It was 4, 5, and 6, I think.
Yeah. 4, 5,
that's
and
what
6.
It was. Yep.
Something like that. Yeah. No, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
You did a good job. What do you think of the show as a whole or season 1? What were your producer thoughts? How do you think it went?
Yeah, I think from a kind of production standpoint, we're kind of learning as we were going from a hosting, standpoint. You learn the right questions to ask. I think it's going through the struggle of thinking that you got to be really prepared with all the questions and then moving into how to just have an organic conversation. But the struggle is then having an organic conversation that stays focused towards whatever the main topic is. Because everybody can talk about anything, but it's a show that's focused around the marketing subject. So keeping it somewhat on
bringing it
on
back,
topic.
bringing it back on.
Yeah.
On
And
track
we
sure.
would be amiss to have this marketing show, the short marketing show, and not ask the audience, please, if you've listened to one or all of our episodes, we want to hear your feedback on what do you want to see in the next upcoming episodes. Do you want segments? Do you want little fun Wheel of Fortune type things?
I like that.
Is there a certain question that you want us to ask every single guest that we have on? We want to hear from you. Also, we'd love to hear your feedback in the review section on Apple Podcast. That definitely helps us to grow and to reach more people and help more business owners market their business and have greater impact.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks again for everybody, watching and listening to all of our shows. I think Jason's going to roll us into a couple clips from, the season as a whole.
Best of the best.
Best of the best. Maybe some mess ups and here and there.
Yeah, some bloopers.
All right. We'll let that roll. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
But in terms of starting off, I think the main thing that whatever the industry is to dive into your customers and pour your marketing money back into them so that they want to. And this community, especially in Gainesville, is so great about that. They want to tell you where they bought their coffee or their shoes, or they want to support all these local businesses. So, I think really just, and also letting them know, hey, this is how we grow.
We learn from everybody.
Love it.
So, you constantly have people calling you on the phone, emailing you, showing up at your doorstep. Hey, can I sell you this? Hey, you need this platform. You need this marketing thing. Yep. And I used to get annoyed by it until I realized that I could definitely learn from them. And by not giving them the opportunity, I'm sometimes missing out on a great idea.
Of course.
That's huge. Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. Well, where can people find you guys? If it's your social or your website or?
Best place to find us is on Instagram and Facebook.
What was that, Jason?
Our producer hit a wonk, wonk, wonk. That's funny. I think he meant to roll the outro.
And I'm telling them, I told you during the whole time, you need to build your video presence. You need to build your marketing presence. You got to focus on what you can do to get yourself in front of the camera. You have a phone. There's your camera. There's your start. Just go live and talk.